New York City breathes again, peaceful but eerily quiet. Peter Parker now walks the streets as a stranger. No one remembers Spider-Man's true identity after Doctor Strange's spell. He rents a small apartment in Queens, juggling photography gigs and street patrols. Every headline reads, "Spider-Man returns." But who is he? MJ and Ned live their lives, happy, successful, but Peter stays away, watching from a distance. He writes letters he never sends. The Avengers have moved on. Peter is alone in a world he saved. The symbol of Spider-Man has become urban legend again. But in the dark corners of Oscorp, a new threat is being born. Norman Osborn, from another universe, awakens in this timeline, his mind fractured but memories intact. He remembers everything, and he remembers Peter Parker. Norman hides in an abandoned Oscorp lab, haunted by hallucinations of his alternate self. He vows not to become the Goblin again, but fate has other plans. Fragments of his destroyed glider and serum samples still exist. He finds blueprints from another universe, Oscorp Omega, designed to merge DNA and nanotech. Norman's mind fractures. The Goblin whispers, "We build again." Meanwhile, Peter senses crime tech evolving faster than ever, too advanced for small-time crooks. At night, he intercepts a heist involving Oscorp tech. Thieves are masked, coordinated, and silent. He stops them, but one calls him by name, Peter. He freezes. The spell is breaking. Back in the shadows, Norman smiles, whispering, "I never forget." Peter returns home, shaken. He studies the Oscorp tech, finding quantum residue, similar to Doctor Strange's magic. Could Norman's mind have survived through dimensions? He visits Strange's sanctum, but Wong warns him. The multiverse remembers differently. Some memories want to return. Peter begins experiencing temporal glitches, hearing MJ's voice, seeing Ned in dreams. His double life starts to blur again. Meanwhile, Daily Bugle's new host, Betty Brant, begins an investigation into the Spider-Man conspiracy. She interviews witnesses who claim they used to know him, but can't remember how. Peter tries to move on, but deep down, he fears the truth may resurface in dangerous ways. Norman reopens Oscorp under a false name, OSNet Industries, promising clean energy and nanotech miracles. Investors flock in. The public sees a hero. Behind the scenes, Norman recruits broken scientists, including Kurt Connors and a mysterious new partner, Dr. Otto Octavius. But this Otto is younger, from a repaired timeline, free of his AI corruption, though still ambitious. Norman convinces Otto they can reshape the world. Together, they develop Project Renaissance, a serum to rewrite human evolution. Peter, working freelance for the Daily Bugle, sneaks into a press event and spots Otto alive. His spider sense goes wild. Something dark is brewing again. Peter secretly infiltrates OSNet as a janitor to learn more. He finds experimental vats labeled Alpha Serum and Omega Strand. The combination of both could rewrite human DNA or destroy it. He's caught by Otto, who surprisingly doesn't recognize him. They talk. Otto laments his old mistakes and desire for redemption. Peter senses truth in him, but Norman watches from hidden cameras. The Goblin persona whispers, he knows too much. That night, Spider-Man swings through Manhattan, heart torn. Can redemption exist for monsters? Unseen, the Goblin suit begins to rebuild itself piece by piece. Peter returns to Aunt May's grave, his silent confessional. He promises never to repeat his past mistakes. Suddenly, a tremor shakes the city, a lab explosion at OSNet. Spider-Man rushes there, saving trapped workers. He sees green smoke pouring from the building, nanites swirling inside. Out of it steps a metallic silhouette, the Neo-Goblin. Half man, half machine, his armor pulses with Oscorp nanotech. Norman laughs. A brand new day indeed. Peter attacks, but the Goblin's power is immense. He controls drones through thought. The fight tears through skyscrapers. Peter barely survives. The world now knows the Goblin is back. The media brand Spider-Man a failure again. OSNet's PR claims terrorist Spider-Man attack their lab. Betty Brant's investigation intensifies. She begins to suspect a connection between Peter and the masked vigilante. Meanwhile, the Goblin publicly plays philanthropist, rebuilding the city while secretly testing the Alpha Serum on volunteers. Those volunteers vanish, replaced by new, enhanced soldiers. Peter hides in an old subway base, stitching his wounds, questioning his existence. He's tired of fighting shadows, until he hears a familiar voice. MJ. She's on the news, reporting from Oscorp. The past is calling him home again. Strange detects dimensional ruptures across New York. Fragments of erased timelines leak. Alternate villains flicker in and out. Lizard, Electro, even Venom's essence. Strange warns Peter, reality is reweaving itself around you. Peter realizes the Goblin's nanotech and Strange's old spell are merging. The city begins seeing double, events repeating differently each hour. Peter suits up, determined to fix it, even if the world never remembers him. He meets Otto again, begging him to stop Norman. Otto hesitates, then agrees. They form an uneasy alliance. OSNet releases a medical upgrade program, secretly spreading nanite control through smart devices. New Yorkers begin acting like drones, chanting slogans. Spider-Man and Otto sneak into OSNet's central core. Peter sees files on every known hero, including him. Oscorp has been watching all along. Norman appears on monitors, smirking. "Welcome home, son." Peter realizes Norman's serum uses his own blood collected from their past fight. "Your DNA builds gods," Norman says. "Now it rebuilds me." The Goblin army activates. The city erupts. Nanite-infected civilians become violent, tearing through Times Square. Spider-Man and Otto fight side by side, but Norman's drones rain down chaos. Peter saves MJ during a collapsing broadcast tower. She doesn't remember him, but feels something. Norman confronts Otto, saying, "You were always the scientist, never the visionary." He kills Otto using the Alpha Serum. Peter screams in rage. The fight goes nuclear. The Goblin's energy core overloads, leveling half the city block. Peter barely escapes, suit shredded, heartbroken. Peter hides in the ruins, haunted by visions of those he's lost. He almost gives up until a figure appears, Dr. Strange. Strange says, "The spell's unraveling. You can end it or lose everything." Peter decides, one last chance. He builds a new suit, infused with both Stark nanotech and mystical runes. A Spider-Man beyond universes. He heads to Oscorp Tower, ready to finish what began years ago. The Goblin unleashes his ultimate weapon, the Omega Glider powered by Peter's DNA. The city's skyline burns red. Spider-Man and Goblin clash in a battle that shakes reality itself. Norman taunts him, "You'll die forgotten." Peter replies, "Maybe, but I'll die free." He smashes the Omega core, ripping a rift through time. Both are sucked into the collapsing portal. Peter wakes in a glowing void. Fragments of time and memory float around him. He sees every version of himself. Toby, Andrew, Miles, all standing in light. They nod silently, merging their energies into him. He becomes the anchor, stabilizing reality. But to do so, he must erase all traces of his past, even his name. He whispers goodbye to MJ across time. Then, the world resets. New York awakens under a golden sunrise. No Goblin, no Oscorp, but a new company rises, Parker Industries. Unknown to the world, Peter's legacy remains coded in its foundation. A young scientist named Miles Morales walks into the lab, drawn by instinct. On his desk lies a note. With great power comes a brand new day. Miles Morales, a bright intern at Parker Industries, stays late one night working on a spider gene regeneration project. Unknown to him, one of Oscorp's genetically enhanced spiders, mutated from old experiments, has escaped containment. It crawls into his workstation, attracted to the radiation pulse from Peter's rebuilt reactor core. Miles reaches out to adjust a circuit, and the spider bites him. He collapses, visions flooding his mind. Cityscapes, spiderweb patterns, and Peter's voice echoing with great power. He wakes up the next morning in his apartment, hanging upside down from the ceiling. Terrified yet exhilarated, Miles experiments with his powers, testing agility, sticking to walls, and bursts of bioelectric energy. Meanwhile, Peter senses something strange, a vibration in the city's web pattern, as if another spider is awakening. MJ notices Peter distracted, his spider sense pulsing unpredictably. At the same time, Jonah Jameson rants on the Daily Bugle Live. New Spider-Man? Clones? The city's infested. Peter wonders if fate has brought another guardian or another curse. In the ruins of Oscorp's biolab, black residue pulses, remnants of the symbiote destroyed years ago. But this isn't the same venom. It's a fragment corrupted by the reactor energy. It reforms, whispering voices from multiple timelines. Eddie, Flash, Brock, all memories merged. The being calls itself the Echo, feeding on unresolved guilt and rage. It senses Peter's emotional conflict and the presence of a new spider-powered host, Miles. The Echo begins spreading microscopic fragments through the city's digital grid, infecting machines and drones. When Peter investigates strange disappearances, he finds a swarm of symbiotic nanobots attacking his systems. Parker Industries' AI malfunctions, whispering, "We are the new web." Peter narrowly escapes, his suit glitching mid-air. He realizes the city itself is becoming infected. The network he built is turning against him. And somewhere in the shadows, the Echo forms a humanoid shape, smiling with dozens of alien teeth. Peter finally tracks down Miles, who's been secretly fighting crime in a makeshift hoodie and sneakers. They clash at first, Miles thinking Peter's an imposter, Peter thinking Miles might be another clone. After a rooftop chase, Peter unmasks, shocking Miles into silence. Peter trains him reluctantly, teaching combat control, ethics, and stealth. Miles' bioelectric venom blast surprises even Peter, a power unlike anything he's seen. MJ encourages Peter to trust Miles. You can't do this alone anymore. Together, they patrol New York, growing into a brother-like bond. But their peace is brief. The Echo attacks the city's central power core, fusing with drones and vehicles. Peter orders Miles to stay back, but Miles ignores him, web-slinging into the chaos. In Times Square, they face a towering techno-symbiote monster. Peter sees flashes of himself in Miles, brave, reckless, and unstoppable. The Echo absorbs Parker Industries' reactor, amplifying its control over every connected system in New York. Streetlights, security drones, even subway, trains begin to merge into a biomechanical nightmare. Peter's old suits activate on their own, attacking him under the Echo's control. Miles fights to reach the reactor, while Peter faces hallucinations of his past failures. Gwen, May Ben. The Echo whispers, "You created me. Your guilt gave me life." Peter's strength fades as he's consumed by metallic tendrils. Miles leaps in, channeling his venom blast through the web network. Electric arcs surge across the skyline. Data and symbiote matter burn away in blue fire. Peter regains consciousness, seeing Miles at the center of the blast. He saves Miles at the last moment, but the reactor collapses, the city plunged into blackout. Silence follows, only the sound of rain. The next morning, the sun rises over a quiet, healing New York. The blackout has strangely purified the city, corruption in Oscorp's systems erased. Peter and Miles walk through the ruins of Parker Industries, now just glass and dust. Peter confesses, maybe it's time someone else carried the mask too. Miles nods, humbled yet ready. MJ begins rebuilding a community outreach program, the Spider Initiative, teaching hope over fear. Jonah, for once, broadcasts a message of respect. Maybe the Spider-Men aren't menaces. Maybe they're miracles. In a small ceremony, Peter stores his classic red suit in a capsule marked Legacy. Miles swings through the city alone, his black and red suit glowing in the sunrise. Children below cheer. A new symbol of hope has risen. And far away, A fragment of echo still pulses, waiting. Deep in a hidden lab beneath Oscorp's ruins, a voice echoes through holographic static. It's Norman Osborn, alive, scarred, and furious. He observes the residual symbiote matter inside a containment sphere. Project Spider-Verse. Phase 1 successful, he mutters. Beside him, a cloaked scientist reveals a glowing multiversal shard, a fragment from another reality. Norman smirks. Let's bring them all home. Every spider there ever was. The camera pans to dozens of test tubes labeled Parker, Morales, Gwen, O'Hara, Silk. Thunder rolls as red-blue light fills the lab. Somewhere across the city, Peter's spider sense tingles violently. A whisper in the dark. Every thread has a shadow. Screen fades to black. Title card, Spider-Man, The Web Beyond, coming soon.